Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that there is going to be a Running Man remake? Not bad though, on face value. Edgar Wright will be on board. Not bad. Who's going to star? Obviously not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Glen Powell, the new It Man of Hollywood. Not bad. Not great. I am sick of remakes. But it's not horrendous. Although it is still pretty sacrilege. So, we're going to take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn those bell notifications on. And let's dive right into it. So, this is a big old interview with Glen Powell. For those who don't know, it's the new It Man of Hollywood. This chap here, you can see the guy that starred in Twisters. Top Gun, etc. He's been in loads of things, actually. So anyway, there's this long interview of IndieWire. And he says, or he's asked anyway, you're going back to UT and getting your degree. How does that even work? Do you have to go to class? There's a reason why I'm saying this, by the way. So he says, I'm not going to be sitting in a class with other students on the regular. I'm basically going to be coming back because I have to finish up. But I'm going to be shooting The Running Man in full. That's why I had to lead with this question first. So I'm going to be in London, but I'm going... So they're filming that in London. Which is a good thing, because we can figure out how much it costs. But I'm going to be going back for proctored exams, so they're letting me figure it out. Zoom calls, blah, blah, blah. It says, I'll come back for all my stuff. Edgar has been very nice about letting me finish my degree in the middle of his massive movie. So a few things. Scale, London, Running Man. Interesting. So speaking of The Running Man, how did that happen? It was so fun for me because I searched Edgar Wright in my email the other day, writing Edgar. We've been going backwards and forward on script stuff, and it's so fun. The world that Edgar's developed on this thing is just outrageous. So it's not just a remake, is it? Like it's a re-adaptation by the sounds of it. It's so good, and really, we're just both such big fans of the Stephen King book, and it's going to be a great character. I'm so fired up about it, but I searched my email, and I searched Edgar Wright in my email, and it came up. I had a wish list of directors that I wanted to work with in 2008, when I moved out to LA, that I sent to my agent at the time, and Edgar Wright is literally number one. I'm such an Edgar Wright man, and so the fact that I get to work with him right now is just so damn cool. Did you tell him about the list? Yeah, I made a bit of an 11th hour plea to him on the job to just let him know. Anybody that ever worked with me knows you're never going to outbeat my work ethic on stuff. But sometimes it's just a good reminder for a filmmaker to know, hey, when we get in the trenches, I'm going to serve it. I'm going to serve it up. I'm going to deliver. And I'm going to deliver for you because not only do I take this job seriously, but I'm also just a fan and you don't want to disappoint your heroes. Edgar has also become a friend in the last few years, so that's really been fun for us to finally get in the trenches together. That's quite cool. That's quite cool. So, basically, yeah, we're getting a Running Man remake. Yeah. Don't know whether I like this news. Just generally, I think Glen Powell's good. But you got articles like this. It says, can genre buster Edgar Wright breathe new life into The Running Man? The pun-packed Arnie starring original that strayed wildly from Stephen King's book is one trashy 80s sci-fi romp that could actually benefit from a remake. Why bother remaking much-loved 80s and 90s science fiction movies? Frankly, it never ends well. Len Wiseman's 2012 reworking of Total Recall, with a baffled-looking Colin Farrell taking over from Arnold Schwarzenegger as the amnesiac dreamer of futuristic secret agent dreams, struggled to capture the bombast of the superbly trashy Paul Verhoeven original. The original was amazing. Shut the fuck up. And never even made it to Mutant Heavy Mars. The maverick Dutch director's 1987 version of RoboCop is a gloriously effective corporate satire masquerading as an all-guns blazing actioner. but it's 2014 remake from Jose Padilla. Seemed to smooth off all those rough, wonderfully stop-motion fueled sci-fi edges and somehow lose something in the process. Basically, yeah, sci-fi, like remaking these films, always ends terribly. So here's what they're trying to say about this Running Man business. How then should we greet the news that another Arnie nutty sci-fi romps 1987's The Running Man is to get the remake treatment? It really ought to be a fresh excuse to chew on one's own kidneys at the horrifying banality of Hollywood in 2024, but there is something about the prospect of a fresh visit to dystopian future Los Angeles that feels surprisingly hopeful. No, not to me. In part, this is because the attached director is no less than Edgar Wright, a filmmaker who is anything but a desperate hired gun, ready to take on anything if the suits hand him enough greenbacks. This is true. This is true. He does do things that he, specifically wants. But it also is because Paul Michael Glazer's original film is barely remembered these days, unless it's for a succession of terrible Arnie puns, such as the not-so-legendary "he had to split" after cutting an enemy in half. I mean, come on now, that's good. Anyway, Wright's version is reportedly based on the 1982 Stephen King novel, written under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman, rather than Glazer's corny and poorly acted original. Yeah, but Glen Powell, and saying that it's going to be fun, I think it'll still be a bit corny. And Edgar Wright does do corny as well, which might make it, which might just be its saving grace. The idea of the British filmmaker reimagining a genre that has been explored so thoroughly by films such as the Hunger Games series is intriguing because it is impossible to imagine him not doing something different with it. This is a director who, throughout his career, has taken the path least trodden through genre filmmaking, from virtually inventing the zombie rom-com with 2004's Shaun of the Dead to glamming up psychological horror with his swingingly insouciant Last Night in Soho. I really like that, actually. That was a good film. Why else would Wright want to take this on if he's not going to sprinkle sparkles of joy and vibrancy all over the Running Man? I still don't think it's going to be very good. So Wright said at the time he was keen to work on the project because Glazer's, otherwise known as Starsky from Starsky and Hutch, and blah, 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 blah. Didn't really adapt the book, he said. Even as a teenager, when I saw the Schwarzenegger film, I was like, oh, this isn't like the book at all. And I think nobody's done that book. So when that came up, I was thinking, and producer Simon Kinberg, he's terrible. He directed the X-Men, The Last Rise of the Phoenix, or Dark Phoenix, whatever the bloody hell that film's called. Oh, he's bad. Do you have any interest in The Running Man? I said, you know what? I've often thought that about that book is something crying out to be adapted. Nah, I still think it's going to be shit. Oh, well, there you go. Running Man's getting a remake. Thoughts? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.